Today we are right here in the heart of Athens, standing in front of the world-renowned Acropolis Museum. And as we walk towards the entrance, pause for a moment and look down. The real story begins beneath your feet because you are not just entering a museum, you are floating above an ancient Athenian neighborhood. Welcome to the very first space you step into at the Acropolis Museum, the Gallery of the Slopes of the Acropolis. This is the first gallery you enter as you walk into the museum, and immediately you will notice something unique. The entire space is gently sloped upward. This design is intentional. It recreates the feeling of the walking up the sacred hill of the Acropolis itself, just like the ancient Athenian once did thousands of years ago. It's a bit crowded to show properly, but the floor here gently slopes upwards, and we are welcomed by a pair of ceramic Nike figures cast from the same mold. Nike represent the winged goddess of victories. Although the wings are no longer there, only the holes where they were once attached can still be seen. And all along this path, you will find artifacts that were discovered on the slopes of the Acropolis, and most of the objects you see here were discovered from the southern slope of the Acropolis, an area that once had theaters, sanctuaries, and even ancient homes. One of the most interesting practices you will notice here is votive offerings. People would dedicate small models of body parts like eyes, hands, or legs to the gods, especially in the sanctuary of Asclepius. Now, what I am standing in front of is a votive offering dish from the sanctuary of Asclepius. An inscription found with it tells us that a woman was suffering from an eye condition, and her husband dedicated this marble eye to the god Asclepius, hoping for her cure nearly 2000 years ago. This entire section is dedicated to the southern slopes of the Acropolis hill, where ancient Athenians lived, worshipped, and gathered. As we move up to the next level, everything changes. We are now in the Archaic Gallery. This gallery takes us back to a time before the Parthenon, when Greek art was just beginning to find its identity. We are now standing in front of one of the most dramatic and storytelling-rich sections of the Acropolis Museum, the pediments of the ancient temple. Right in front of you, you will see these broken fragments of pediment sculptures. These pieces once formed part of a large temple decoration full of mythological scenes, animals, and powerful storytelling. Here we have Heracles, also known as Hercules. He is shown wrestling with Triton, a fascinating creature who is half human and half fish. Even though the sculpture is fragmented, you can still feel the tension and movement in this moment. And just next to it, you can see this lion attacking a bull. This is actually part of a larger composition from the pediment. The lion is tearing into the bull with its claws, and if you look closely, you can even notice traces of paint that once made this scene look incredibly vivid. This entire gallery represents a time when Greek artists were still experimenting, trying to understand how to represent the human body, how to bring life into stone. So the poses may feel a bit stiff, the expression quite similar, but this is where it all begins. And even though we are seeing many of this from far, you can still feel the elegance and symmetry and the early steps towards the more natural lifelike sculptures that are coming next. So as I move further through the Archaic Gallery, I can already feel a subtle shift in style. The rigid stylized forms slowly begin to give way to more natural and realistic human expressions. Now, as we walk further, we reach the West Gallery. we entered the era of Pericles, the golden age of Athens. This section focuses on the masterpieces of classical Athens. And among them, one of the most powerful stories in the museum, there are 6 Caryatids, but only 5 stands here today. The 6th was taken by Lord Elgin and now stands in the British Museum in London, and the space she left behind remains empty. These stunning marble figures once stood on the porch of the Erechtheion, not just as decoration but as columns supporting the structure itself. Now behind the Caryatids, look at their thick braided hair. This wasn't just beauty, it was engineering. Those heavy braids were designed to strengthen their necks, allowing them to support the weight of the stone roof for centuries. And finally we reach the top, the Parthenon Gallery. This entire floor is built as a mirror of the Parthenon itself, aligned in the exact same orientation. Even the steel columns match the number of the temple's pillars, and the frieze displayed in its original sequence lowered so you can finally see every detail up close. And through the glass walls, you are looking directly at the monument it came from, not just displayed, but connected. Here you can see all the 3 major sculptural elements of the Parthenon, the frieze, the metopes and the pediments, all displayed almost exactly as they once stood on the temple. What makes this gallery truly special is that the sculptures are arranged in the same sequence and position as they were on the original temple. So as you walk here, it feels like you are walking around the Parthenon itself. Some of the original sculptures are still in other museums like the British Museum, so here you will see a combination of original pieces and cast, completing the story of the Parthenon.